In the headlines, 2 herders killed, 30 cattle shot in Plateau attack. Group demands release of 48 students held over Bauchi protests. Nigeria climbs 5 places to rank 140th on Global Corruption Index. On the foreign scene, Ugandan opposition moves to stop military trials for civilians. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update on Trust TV. My name is Idris Dayabaturi. At least 2 herders have been killed and several cattle shot in an attack in Butura district of Bokos local government area of Plateau State. The incident occurred on Tuesday evening as the herders were returning from grazing. According to the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria MACBAN, the victims identified as Muazzam Amino and Shafiu Abdullahi were surrounded by armed men who opened fire on them and their cattle. 10 animals were killed while 20 others sustained injuries. MACBAN said security agencies including the military and the Department of the State Services had been notified of the attack, adding that members have been urged to remain calm while investigations continued. Sectors 5 of Operation Safe Haven, responsible for peacekeeping in the area, visited the scene ahead of the victims' burial. Now, in a fresh bandit attack on Sayaya communities of Matazu local government area of Katsina State, 1 member of the Community Security Watch Corps and a resident of the village have been killed. The assailants in their hundreds stormed Sayaya village at midnight disguised as travelers and opened fire on a combined security team guarding the community, killing 1 Security Watch Corps member in the process. A combined security team comprising personnel from the Army, Police, Civilian Joint Task Force, JTF and Vigilante with special reinforcement from Malumfashi local government assisted in chasing the attackers from the community. Residents blamed the attack on bandits operating in the neighboring Namusa, Safana and Batsar local government area where they had negotiations with the local authorities. As at time of compiling the report, hundreds of families from Sayaya village were seen leaving the community in vehicles and motorcycles to neighboring towns perceived safer. The spokesman of Katsina State Police Command, DSP Sadiq Aliyu, was yet to respond to inquiries at the time of filing these reports. Now, troubled communities in Benue State have witnessed the deployment of additional security personnel as part of measures to boost safety at the grassroots. The move follows appeal from residents and local authorities for urgent intervention from both the federal and state governments, particularly in Ukum local government, where years of violent attacks have left thousands displaced and communities in ruins. Trust TV correspondent in Benue State reports.
Ukum local government and other parts of Benue State, Nigeria's food basket, was accounted for a high percentage of yam production and other agricultural output. But armed herder invasions and persistent banditry have turned these industrious communities into zones of fear and dependency. Today, the scars of conflict remain visible, with at least 15 settlements in Ukum still reeling from sustained attacks. In response, joint military operations under Operation Wire Stroke have intensified in the area, recently rescuing 11 kidnapped victims, a move welcomed by the people. The chairman of Ukum local government area, Jonathan Modi, led a military team on a strategic assessment tour of Katsina, Ukum, Logo, and Buruku local government areas to inspect public infrastructure destroyed during the attacks.
Ukum have an issue of insecurity, and most of our council wards are being deserted by this insecurity. So the governor was briefed, and what the governor is trying to do is that to make sure that he will secure these places so that our people will go back to farms. As you can see, yesterday we deployed in Afia, which happens to be the current senator's village. You know, the people have been crying, and you know, even if you go to that place, yeah, you will see a lot of people there, but they live in fear. They live in fear. People are scared. And, you know, they are being attacked on market days.
Other stakeholders who pledged greater cooperation with security personnel voiced a strong desire to return to normal life, where safety is assured and essential services are restored.
And we are ready to cooperate with you in any way. And I know our chairman will not leave us like that. We will be assisting us, so the much we can do for you.
With the presence of security at Afia today, we believe that all our markets that are no longer functioning will come back to life. All the economic activities that have paralyzed will come back to life.
Security operatives say the deployment is part of renewed efforts to eliminate criminal elements and restore peace in the San crisis of the state, one of the regions worst affected by insecurity. Stakeholders are urging coordinated action from both national and state levels to stabilize the region, rebuild lives shattered by years of violence, and help affected communities regain their dignity.
Now, the Youth Arise movement has demanded the immediate release of 48 students of the Federal Polytechnic Bauchi, who were arrested during a protest against what they described as rising incidents of armed robbery on campus. The Bauchi State Police Command had on Tuesday said the arrest followed a security breach that occurred during the protest. The public relations officer Ahmad Wakil said the command acted on intelligence of a security breach by unidentified suspected hoodlums who allegedly scaled the institution's fence and forcefully took student phones. Wakil said 48 protesters and 16 suspected robbers were arrested in connection with the incident. In a statement on Wednesday, the group's convener Babatunde Ademola called for the unconditional release of all detained students and the dropping of charges against them. He demanded an investigation into the robbery incident and public apology from law enforcement agencies. Now, victims of the recent flood in Yola town of Adamawa State have urged the federal government to investigate the role of a mining company whose dam released excess water on the day of the incident. The incident, which occurred on July 28, affected about 4,000 households with 23 lives lost and many others hospitalized. The victims called on the federal government and other partners to be involved in the investigation of the mining company. They also alleged that officials of the state have absolved the company of any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, the Adamawa Commissioner for Environment, Muhammad Sadiq, who is one of those who absolved the mining company of culpability, said the company's activities are in compliance with laws and regulations. Now, Nigeria has inched up in the latest global corruption perception rankings released by the Trading Economics, reflecting a modest shift in its global standing, but leaving it still among the most corruption-plagued nations. The country now ranks 140th out of 180 nations in the December 2024 report, an improvement from 145th in the previous ranking. The movement suggests Nigeria has gained 5 positions, but analysts warn this does not necessarily mean corruption has meaningfully declined. Often, such shifts result from other countries deteriorating rather than a significant domestic turnaround. Across Africa, a mixed picture emerged. Ivory Coast made a notable leap from 87th to 69th, while Rwanda rose from 49th to 43rd. Ghana split from 70th to held steady at 80th, retaining a much stronger position than Nigeria. Now, the National Association of Academic Technologists on Wednesday knocked the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, over the Tertiary Institutions Staff Support Fund, a Federal Ministry of Education and TET Fund-funded program. The union, in a statement by its national president, Ibeji Nwakoma, said after carefully studying the document on TISSF loan, it came to the conclusion that members do not need a loan that will perpetually enslave them, as it amounts to taking their salaries in the advance, since there are NAAT cooperatives to take care of the short-term financial needs of members. The union said the government should rather release payment of all outstanding arrears legitimately earned by its members, which include payment of 3.5 months of withheld salaries, payment of 7 months arrears of occupational hazard allowance, and release of third-party deductions from the 2 months of withheld salaries that were paid. The union further demanded for payment of 11 months arrears of responsibility allowance, payment of 12 months arrears of 25% and 35% salary increase, payment of 4 months arrears of wage award, payment of arrears of the 30,000 naira minimum wage to omitted NAT members implemented in 2019, as well as the release of supplementary funds to pay the outstanding claims of themed allowances of NAT members. You are still watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Lagos commuters decry dilapidated road condition. More news when we return. Do stay with us.
In a fast-paced world, some things remain timeless.
Two herders killed, 30 cattle shot in Plateau attack. And group demands release of 48 students held on over Bauchi protests. Now moving on to more stories, the Federal Capital Territory Administration FCTA through its Satellite Towns Development Department STDD has launched an intensive waste evacuation along the Yanya-Karshi axis to protect residents from health risk linked to pollution. The exercise also aims to strengthen security within the territory and guarantee the safety of lives and properties. Habiba Tajayi has more.
The director of FCT Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, says the exercise is part of a wider effort by the FCT Security Council to rid the city of criminal hideouts.
In the master plan of Abuja, and particularly the land use plan for Phase 1 and Garki district, this is part of the transitway corridor. It's a system that runs across the city, from here up to behind the AMAC Ministry of Defense, going towards, behind Fraser Suit, up to Zone 3. It's a system, so we call it transitway system, which has not been developed yet. It's a proposal, but it's being maintained and protected against any instance of land grabbing. Yes. Going forward, we intend to sustain, because we have been directed by the FCT Security Council, after clearing, we should take possession by way of fencing and putting those uses that are commensurate and friendly to city development.
Speaking on security outcomes, the Director of Security Adamu Gwari, represented by Peter Olumiji, noted that crime rates have dropped significantly since the operation began last week. He added that the ongoing Operation Sweep Abuja is tracking and removing displaced criminals from other locations.
We started since last week. We are making FCT hot for everyone that have one criminal tendency or the other. This place we are today, right now, Apo Guzape, you can see by yourself that we have people that deals in illicit drugs, and we've been able to apprehend 2 suspects today, which have been handed over to the NDLEA. One thing we want criminal elements to know, that FCT is not a place they can hibernate again. Wherever you go, we are going to pursue you and smoke you out.
The FCTA reported that there was no resistance from the inhabitants of the area, as they knew they were squatting illegally and were not meant to be there. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, residents and commuters, especially commercial bus drivers, are lamenting the deplorable state of Idi Oro-Olosha Road along the Agege motorway. They are calling on both the state and local government to urgently repair the road, which they say has disrupted businesses and caused constant damage to vehicles. The report.
Idi Oro-Olosha Road is a key section of the Agege motorway linking Mushi to other parts of Lagos. Despite recent efforts to improve the surface by pouring gravel, the road remains in a deplorable condition. Each day, it deteriorates further, making it increasingly difficult for motorists to navigate. The poor state of the road has forced some businesses and residents to relocate, while others struggle to cope with the daily challenges. Speaking to our correspondent, commercial bus drivers and residents express frustration over what they describe as abandonment by both the state government and the local council.
For the rainy season, that rainy season is very bad. It enters people's compound, it enters people's room, makes some people back away from the Mushi, Joro, Olosha, going to Agege, Ayerimi. It's very bad. Government need to do something about it. You know, see, they have been saying that Nigeria is going to be like London. It's not like this now. It's not like this, my dear. They're supposed to do the road. You know, it'll be okay. We don't do rainy season. You can never be disturbing people.
The only thing when I say, no governor for this. Now only the reality. Before this road be like this, now only like boya na Ambode na I do this road. Where they fear before him come up. Since when Ambode come up, they never. Once it's always enter, they never start for this road. They never start for this road. Make us check the road. Make us start. You see the all this road where they don't fall.
Since Ambode period that they have done this street, is not there's no good materials to repair this road. Even go and look at that junction, it's unfair. Even especially this place, it's unfair now. Some people used to have accidents there, and it's not good. So make them come and help us to do it. They say that it's gutter that is spoiling the road.
Olosha Road is a very bad road. The road is a very bad road, and it's not a good road for vehicle. From the beginning, from Osholashi down to Olosha. If you like that very road, your vehicle will be fixing it each and every month.
Idi Oro-Olosha Road is an important link to Mushi, Ilupeju, Antoni, and Ikeja along. The area also serves as a commercial hub, especially for the building materials trade. Residents believe that rehabilitating the road will attract more visitors, boost trade, and expand economic opportunities.
And now in business, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) says there was a significant decline in fuel consumption for June, with total fuel evacuation dropping to 1.44 billion liters. In a report on Wednesday, George Ene-Ita, Director of Public Affairs, NMDPRA, said daily fuel consumption averaged 48 million liters. Ene-Ita said the total fuel evacuation for June was precisely 1,440,768,129 liters, representing an 18.54% decrease compared to May's total supply of 1,768,812,804 liters, a drop of over 328.04 million liters. He said the figure represents a daily average evacuation of 48,025,604 liters, obtained by dividing the total monthly volume by the 30 days in the month under review. The spokesperson said the NMDPRA pledged to work closely with relevant stakeholders to strengthen distribution and guarantee an uninterrupted supply of petroleum products across the country. And away from Nigeria, Uganda's largest opposition party has filed a case in the Constitutional Court seeking to nullify a newly enacted law that reinstates the right of military tribunals to try civilians. The Supreme Court had previously ruled in January that the prosecution of civilians in military tribunals was unlawful, stating the court lacked the legal competence to conduct fair and impartial criminal trials. Right groups, both local and international, have long accused the Ugandan government of using military court to target political opponents of President Yoweri Museveni, who has been in power for nearly 4 decades. Government officials maintain that only civilians involved in armed political violence are tried in such courts. According to the National Unity Platform (NUP), the petition challenges the legality of the law, which was passed by Parliament in May and signed by Museveni in June. The party argues that parliamentary procedures were not properly followed, including adequate public consultations. And now in sport, Nigeria's D Tigers began their 2025 FIBA AfroBasket Group B campaign off to a perfect start after overcoming Madagascar 77-59 on Wednesday. Although the Tigers struggled a bit to have a firm grip of the match in the first and second quarters, veteran players like Caleb Agada, Stan Okoye, and Ike Nwamu showed great leadership to rally the troop in the third and fourth quarters to secure the win. And with that, we have come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Idris Laye Bature, thanking you for being with us. Good evening.